Check, check, check. We live? Is it working, folks? Is it working? Actually started a few minutes early. Michael, Kyle, Tom, can you hear me? All right, Kyle, what's the bet? Like, we caught a few today. Working. I actually had one with a drop shot, but he came off. Had him sitting in the water while I was getting the cameras set up, and all the bugs slipped off. We're gonna start with one. A bass in hand. Water temp, Adam. Water temp is 68. Yeah, so we invested a few things. I bought new headphones. I got a new mount for up front. I bought a new mount for back. That one didn't quite work out, so I probably spent $100 on equipment at least since last weekend. So let me know. I'd like to know, is the sound better? Because after listening to the replay last week, the sound was atrocious. It is still hard to see this tablet screen with my sunglasses on. So what we're doing, I thought it's a calmish day. There's a light breeze. I really wanted to work on my live scope, and I got a whole bunch of rods here rigged up with drop shots, little minnow jig heads, things like that, and I really wanted to work on the live scope game today. So I probably caught 5 or 6 bass today, 3 or 4 like decent ones. It would be like keepers, 2-pounders, and then a couple of dinks. They've mostly been on the drop shot. I think I only caught one on the hanging minnow. Like being able to see an actual bass, pick it out and cast to it has not been that successful. But finding clumps of grass that have a lot of activity in them and then pitching the drop shot into that has resulted in bites. So they're probably could be some late spawning fish. I feel like most of the fish that I'm looking at here are post spawn. I've kind of gotten into an area where the grass is like everywhere. I can't find an edge here. But the drop shot has been the best so far today. I'm sure I won't catch any fish now that one thing I found interesting is like I have a hotspot for this tablet, and if I try to run the phone and the tablet off the hotspot, it like cripples it somewhere. I don't know. So I have to run my phone off its own Wi-Fi signal, and then let the tablet do its thing off the hotspot. I just need a better hotspot. The one I'm borrowing from the soccer team, it's not getting it done, or what? But now I'm like in a section. Thought I knew this. Like then when you got live scoping, you're looking around. Maybe it's just this time of year that there's just grass all over in this section. I thought there was a better edge here somewhere. I feel like in the summer there's a hard spot over here. So what we've been catching them on thus far, I think it's just the spring weed, spring cabbage is just growing up everywhere. Is this drop shot right here has been the best so far. So that's a 6-inch magic worm and like their green pumpkin special. And if you look really close, I'm using like that really like small 6 millimeter Arsenal Wacky Band, and I've caught like 6, 7 fish without going through a worm, which is nice. And then a little Bass Tech 3/8 ounce drop shot, kind of semi-cylindrical teardrop. Got that on the 742, which unfortunately has become a 722.5. So I broke the tip, and I decided to just put the tip on that 1.5 inch. We don't necessarily. It was rainy and drizzly this morning. It rained all day yesterday, and I was at a soccer game last night, and we got poured on. So I haven't had a chance. Like, I can definitely see a lot of bait fish and small fish on the wide scope. I have not necessarily like picked out a bass casted to it. I've been able to see like grass patches with a lot of movement in them, then put my drop shot in there, and then get bit. Not necessarily like pick out individual fish. My screen is just covered with grass right now in this section. I might need to wheel around here. This is probably where I'm at now would be better served just putting on a half-ounce weight and like a beaver, a tube, and just flipping around, I think. Because I know there's a hard bottom over here, but it's covered in spring cabbage right now, it appears. Got some kayakers over to my right. There's no edge over here. It's just grass everywhere. Not ideal. Gotta keep plucking. And if I catch a good one, it's probably gonna end up going to live well so that I can submit it in some online tournaments. But I won't be able to submit it while streaming on the phone. I don't really see those high flyers that everybody else sees down south, where you get like this big blob just sticking up everywhere. I don't see our fish doing that a lot, to be honest. But I thought about trying to see if I could flip this around and actually show my screen on the tablet. Not sure if that'll work or not. I need to work back. Try this glide thing for a little bit here. Feel the old trick shad. Is Brendan watching? BBC? I would really like to find a lake by my house that is a good lake for seeing fish. This whole thing not being able to see the tablet screen with my sunglasses on is I don't know. Anybody got any ideas on how to resolve that? It's a little bit of coontail, a little milfoil. Later on in the year, this spring weeds will be replaced with more milfoil in this lake. Might be better for what I want to do. Get better edges. I'm definitely around some coontail here. I think I'm actually gonna flip my old drop shot around here, right here, so I see some better weeds here. A little more pockety. I can see a bluegill with my eyes. Does that count? I feel like I'm kind of on the spot where the fish like to be now. Panning around. Lots of bluegills. Still don't have my 360 back. Hummingbird is like people on the internet answering my emails are like sticking their head in the sand and pretending it's not a problem, I think. Like, well, maybe just fish on. Doesn't feel very big. But there again, I did not see this fish, but I could see some irregularity in the grass and some activity, and pinned that little guy right in the. You guys are starting to think that every fish in Minnesota is that small. Another one for the magic worm. Although this magic worm has produced some good fish, especially last year. Got several 3 to 4 pounders on it. But what is still relevant there is I do feel like the live scope did allow me to make a high percentage presentation to an area that had a lot of activity where the grass was a little different. And also you see your drop shot go down into the weeds, so you know you made the cast that you wanted to make. Boy, that little guy had my drop shot all kinds of balled up in his mouth. Worm's getting a little thin. Let's see how many more fish we can catch on this old magic worm with this little arsenal band on it. You can kind of see that it's getting kind of chewed up, like it's getting. You can see the little salt coming out of it. Bluegills, bass. I do have the blue screen on today, Aaron. Is your timeout over, Aaron? I could probably bring my phone up here and like give you a little glimpse of what it looks like here. Let's see here. So, oh boy. All right. So here we are. We have my Helix 12 with my mapping and my 2D because Hummingbird has not responded to my request to fix my Mega 360. But that is the grass. But you can see there is some places where it's higher. You do got a lot of bluegills and bait fish high. But I have not been able to pick out any big enough blobs above the grass. But I've been able to cast into areas where you've got bluegills, different things going on in the grass, and get bit on the drop shot down in the grass. So that's kind of a glimpse. And as far as like the arsenal today, pretty much all spinning rods and one glide bait. So really came out here to practice the spinning rods and the little minnows and that kind of stuff. So that I don't think anybody was lying on the stream the other night. I'm being honest. Aaron, you're just a little stubborn sometimes. And you're not very open-minded to listening. Here's a good example of what the curly leaf pondweed looks like. That's what we are mostly plagued with, which is like not the most desirable grass, but it typically burns off here in a couple weeks. But within that, there is a little bit of the foil starting to come in, which is the good stuff. Buddy's catching. Buddy's on pelican. Which pelican? We got lots of pelican lakes. Now here, I feel like I should get something out here because that is some decent looking foil coming up there. Do I got something? Might be calling a front facing audible here. So I kind of want to maybe flip this grass here. I'm sure people will be disappointed to see me set down a spinning rod. Do I got something with a decent sized weight on it that I can flip into the grass? What do we got here? Oh, that might work. Got my trick shad stuck in the carpet already. All right, so here I do have it's only a 3/8 or a 1/2 ounce weight. Not ideal. Got a little cleanup craw. Might actually want to put something on like different there because might want something that falls a little fouler, faster. Might switch out my bait because this either need to put a heavier weight on or a different trailer on so I can get a little faster fall for flipping in this foil. I feel like should maybe put on like a stick worm. Throw that in there. It'll. If I had a heavier weight, this cleanup crowd would be fine, but it's taking forever to get down. Or a tube. I could put a tube on. What do you guys think? Do you want me to put on a tube or a stick worm for flipping in this grass? It's not a 3 mount. It's only a 2 mount. So it's a stacker precision sonar mount. And then I've got a custom bracket attached to the back that is like a camera mount for like the tablet. So the tablet is only there for the live stream. So I can read comments and give you a second angle so you don't have to stare at my calves and my ass the whole time. Oh, sweet. Pike. So we got our first pike bite, which is nice. So now I can retie the whole thing, which is truly a blessing. Gotta love northern pike. This is why you people need to do your part and eat more pike because it's really expensive. They ate both my bobber stops, my tungsten, my hook, and my craw. I could go with a power shot. Is that what you're asking for? Do I have a power shot rigged up? Maybe I might. All right. Let's get some tackle out. Go with a slightly heavier weight so we can cover some water. Ounce, 3/4. I think 3/4 would be a good choice. Put the old bobber stop on. Slip 3/4 ounce tungsten. Hook. We'll go probably with a ringed EWG. If I can find one. That one. Alright. Ringed EWG. Now we have the proper weight and weight. We can kind of throw whatever we want. Use the scissors as a weight for the double piston. Come on. Get that piston. Stupid weight. Come on. How many flips before I lose this rig? Any guesses? Alright. To throw a D-bomb? I haven't thrown a D-bomb in a minute. Where are my helicopters? The old bulk bag of super bug D-bombs? Let's go. The meat and taters. Already distracted from today's plan of spinning rods and front facing sonar because it's awesome. I mean, look at that. That is just straight sexiness there. All right, hopefully we don't get piked in like the first flip. What have the people? Will Turner? Yeah, he's watching on the Twitter on the X. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I like um, the hookup ratio on the Ring DWG. You won't change my mind. Is there any comments that I missed? Yeah, we have lots of pelicans, so you're gonna have to be a little more specific, Marty. There's one up by Pelican Rapids, Pequot Lakes area. There's one by Brainerd. How fun would it be to find a little pod flipping where I like get bit, hit spot lock, and then just pound a bunch of them in the face without even moving? This lake does have some good frog water in it too. I didn't get out here super early. I actually got some stuff done on the boat, rigged up some rods, changed out a circuit breaker, took my dogs for a walk, made breakfast. But it's kind of rainy and drizzly this morning, so I kind of thought I could still get on the lake because this place only has like 10 spots to park. But should have just been out all day. Milfoil's almost coming to the surface here. Should be some bass in here somewhere. It's a ringed EWG 4-aught. I use the ones by Gamakatsu and VMC. I like using them for up to about 3/4 of an ounce. If I go to 1 ounce, then I typically switch to a straight shank. That means I'm typically throwing braid. But for fluoro, grass flipping, Minnesota, ringed EWG, we got quite. I mean, this lake is a small lake. It heats up pretty quick. It's not super deep. It's like maybe 20 feet max in the basin that I'm in. Getting some wind. Resisting the urge to throw a chatterbait right now. So the ring DWG has a welded ring attached to the eye that you tie to instead of tying right to the eye. I'll show it here in a second. Kind of gives your bait freedom of movement, kind of like a Tokyo ring. And for whatever reason, it just hooks them better, and you don't lose them. So, right, EWG, and then it's kind of like a split ring, but it's a welded ring, so there is no gap in it. But then it kind of, I don't know the science behind it, but I've done it enough to know that I like it, and to know that it works for me and my mechanics and how I fish. Quite a few people have. I mean, I heard it from Seth Fighter first. He kind of touted it. I tried it. It's been working for me. Several people that watch the channel have tried it and said it works for them. Bass Puzzle Grass Piece. Oh, I don't think I have that tied on. I don't know where I have to dig it out. I don't know. I did catch a bass on the one that Colby made me, or one of them, one of the two. It wasn't absolutely magical in the cross. I think I do have some of the real ones because my buddy Pat has a buddy who went to Japan, and I gave him a budget to pick me up some. I don't know how many I got or what that looks like, but somebody's out skiing. Awesome. When this crappie grass, the stringy curly leaf pondweed drops, there's usually a hard bottom spot out here. It's pretty good. Yeah, Seth not having the best year. He actually fished a local tournament at Minnetonka, and he did so not great that him and Figgy didn't even weigh their fish. So when it rains, it pours. It is kind of almost inevitable in fishing, but he's now on like a 2 year not so great streak. So hopefully he can turn it around here. I think he is a fan favorite, Seth. I mean, he's a cool guy. I like him, support him from Minnesota. I'm really surprised I'm not getting bit somewhere in here because this milfoil actually looks pretty good for being June 1st. Um, it happens to guys that are good at technology too, because last year, Joey Cifuentes won 2 Bassmaster Elite Series events, both of them largely with live scope, drop shot, and he is darn near dead last in AOI. And people are catching him on live scope and all around him, so it's more than just technology. I want to say, is it Fujita that's also not having a great season? Like AOI wise? One of the Japanese anglers that's pretty good is not having a great season, I think. I do not think the ringed up uh, just ties it up or tears up baits faster. No. So you're saying that Joey did something his rookie year that people aren't saying that he somehow got information when he knew he qualified, and now that it's his sophomore year, if he followed the rules, that's why he's not catching him. Is that what you're alluding to, Tyler Duncan? Yeah, I don't know. I have definitely not heard that. You want me to assault a skier, Kyle? That's not very nice. That's not very friendly. I'm gonna say this does feel good. Like, I mean, that feel even better to get a bite, but just flipping the old big weight around, kind of, kind of got the old plums tingling, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and Kenta's not having his greatest year either, which is interesting. Must not be a good year to be smoking darts. Kenta and Seth are both struggling. I tend to agree that info that's that old is kind of worthless play, but I guess it goes to the. I kind of think it, and I'm not saying they did or did not get information that has anything to do with how they're doing. But if you get it in mass enough quantities, this information, right? And you're good at breaking down water with your electronics, with side disc imaging, 2D, live scope. If you got 300 things to check in practice that have been good in the past, you're probably going to run into them. So I think, yeah, if you get 4 or 5 dots on a lake, there's a good chance that most of that stuff probably won't work out. But if you get enough good intel from guys that are really know the lake, like guides that can give you like situational time of year stuff, I could see how it could work. Because I definitely would not say that McKinney and or JT are not talented anglers. They clearly are good fishermen. So if you arm them with a little bit of extra places to start, where to look, um, they can break that stuff down pretty fast and parse through it and find out, you know, they get 100 things, they can figure out what the 10 things are that are good. So, but in general, I agree that old information is, there's just a giant boulder there in that milfoil. You think there'd be a fish in there. And then, you know, working together definitely helps. I mean, and there's nothing against the rules about anglers working together. Kyle Patrick and Wes, with Wes, had him on the show. What is his name? Not Wes Logan. What's the other Wes? From Alabama. They've been working together. It's working out for them. So JT and McKinney are the people that most associated with this information gathering, then also working together. So if they're both, if hypothetically, if they're both gaining tons of information ahead of time that they both can then break down and then they start working together, you can get pretty dialed in, you know, and if your other anglers are not doing that, then it could lead to results. Yeah, Wesley Gore. That's right. Yeah. I don't think most people outside of you, Aaron, have that much problem with anglers sharing information. I'm starting to think the foil's not a thing right now. It surprises me. Maybe this too much spring cabbage out there got them distracted. Maybe once that cabbage starts to die, they'll roll into this foil like good little bass. Yeah, flip a little more, get over on this edge over here. Start throwing that drop shot a little bit. See if we can catch one on front facing sonar for Aaron because we know he loves it. I mean, all the anglers have the opportunity to work with other anglers. So I think 90% of them do it to some degree. At least I haven't lost my minnow or my cricket to a pike yet. That's a positive. And I guess, yeah, I mean, like the info sharing that's happening like during practice and during the events, like that's kind of more real time. I mean, probably potentially more impactful. But that's been happening, right? I mean, like Ott Defoe got some information that definitely helped him seal the deal on that classic that he won from, who was it? Crochet? Something like that. Somebody that lost a bunch of fish on some docks in the marina or something, or saw a bunch they didn't connect with. I mean, what do you want it without it? Maybe. Defoe actually also had that. Didn't that happen to, forget which way it went? On the Mississippi River, I don't remember if it was Gerald Swindle that was struggling or Ott was struggling, and one of them had a chance to come back and beat the other one, or AOI or something, and one of them got some information from a competitor during the event and was like, oh no, you can just go here and fill out your limit. And it was enough to either, maybe they, Ott, that one Ott, maybe Gerald Swindle told Ott Defoe and Ott Defoe was able to hold off Seth Fighter in that tournament. Something like that. You're definitely a little shallower. Now we're in like 3-4 feet of water. Ugh. Need to drink some water. It's getting bad out here. I guess I did have a chatterwagon sitting out. Ugh. Since we're over here by this dock, we'll just throw a jig up there a little bit, cleanse my soul from that dirty front-facing sonar. It's like an old bed there. I don't see anything on it. Dock bite has not been good the few times I've been out. Must be because of front-facing sonar. But the dock bite has been good. Piece of wood. This lake always has been a decent lake for shallow fishing as well. It's kind of has a lot of things going, like nice little weed mat up next to a log, little clean spot. Try swimming this jig out to the edge of the. There's some thick pondweed mats in that other basin right over there. The blue screen, I am indifferent to at this point. Not saying it's not good, but yeah. And you're supposed to give that person, information before you're officially eliminated. But trying to get out back where we can get on an edge. I was caught before I was going live. Typically, this little section is pretty good for flipping right here. Some rocks mixed in with the milfoil. How many people are watching? Can't really see. All right, back to the spinner pole. Oh, drop shot, drop shot. Get out here next to the tubers. Look at that duck tube. That looks fun. So we got this weed patch standing a little tall there. Throw our drop shot in there. Wiggle my worm. Turn that back down a little bit. Got the boat back out in like 13, 14 where I can be more on an edge. There, 27. Thanks, Tom. Wheeler fancy fishing video, probably this week sometime. Could try rigging this up to see if we can get the screen to show. You guys want me to try to point the tablet at the screen? I'm trying to figure out how to way that I can still see the screen without the tablet sitting in front of it. We could try it. I promise you, fishing and not looking at chat is a lot easier. I am fishing the St. Clair Open. I think I'm more apt to take Wheeler for Smith Lake for my Drain the Lake. I think there's lots of guys you can take for Wheeler. You got to remember a lot of those open guys, those rookies, fished Wheeler at a similar time of year last year. So I think there'll be some good options in Bucket A outside of Jay Lee. Maybe the tubers aren't getting the bass fired up out here. I will say that once the tubers came out, there's been a lot less bluegills high in the water column out here than there was, which is interesting to see that. You can instant message me on Instagram if you must, Aaron. You think he's going to go? John Cox is going to get back in some creek like he did in the FLW Cup, Clay? Let's see. See if there's a fish in that deeper bass. Come on, Kyle. Facebook? That, I hate hair jigs, I want to be honest. I don't have a ton of confidence with hair jigs. I know a lot of people do, but I do not. A few fish on it in my life. Not a super big fan. You fishy, fishy, fishy. It is a beautiful. What is that up there? Right in the weeds. Man, it's like the fish don't want to be on camera. Nice looking weed clump there. Have I only caught one fish? Brutal. The blobs aren't there. Oh, I thought you were talking about today. There probably could be a few lingering spawners, but they're mostly done here. Joseph, I am drop shotting with a Champion Extreme 742 right now. It's kind of my main drop shot rod. But I think any 2-power Dobbins makes a good drop shot rod, in my opinion. So whatever your budget is, whatever your length preference is, could be a 702 Fury, could be a 682 Colt, could be a 702 Champ, 732 Champ, 712 Caden. Like, I think they're all pretty good drop shot rods. So kind of depends what length and you want. But the two, and that's for braid to fluoro setups. If you like straight fluoro, I'd probably go to a 3-power. I drove across the 20-foot section. I didn't see any blobs. But I'm not as good as you are, Aaron. Everybody knows that. A bluegill tapped it. That's pretty exciting. There's a tap. Oh, fish. Yeehaw. We got ourselves a largemouth bass on the drop shot. Oh, just broke the tip off the rod. Probably indicative that I had broke it before in the rod locker, so that probably just finished the deal on it. So there's a little 14-incher. That's a bummer. Now we're definitely going to have to warranty it. I thought I could get by with it being a 732.5, but I had broken this in the rod lock, redone the tip this morning, and clearly there was more stress there than just that one. All right, time to shake a minnow. The tablet. Oh, did the tablet get too hot? I also never plugged it in to keep it charged, but it should have lasted longer than that. What's going on here? Yeah, I think the tablet got too hot. That's unfortunate. Now I can't read the chat. It says there's 56 people watching. There must be quite a few people on Facebook. Anybody want to become a live moderator and read the chat to me? Did not anticipate the heat being an issue. It's only like 75 degrees, and there is a little bit of breeze, so I'm pretty sure it didn't run out of battery. What did it do? So it just lost connection. All right, maybe we're not dead in the water yet. Shaking my minnow above the grass. There's some bluegills or crappies looking at it. Oh, just missed a bluegill or a crappie or something. It's not the battery; it was connection. Uh, it is a nice day, Clint. We'll try shaking this minnow a little bit. I might have to retie that drop shot on a different rod. Something had it in his mouth, kind of had it bunched up. Maybe I did miss a bass. Or he missed me. Shake your minnow. Didn't have any super glue for my minner, so that's disappointing. We are in a zone with a lot more bait fish all of a sudden. Did it lose connection again? Look at that thing! Get you some of that! That's why you throw a front-facing sonar minnow, folks. Right there. See, Aaron, it is easy. You're right. Look at that. Throw him back out the back of the boat so he doesn't spook the rest of the school. Man, I wasn't even sure if that was a fish or a weed. Why is my hotspot not able to stay connected? That is the question. Maybe my problem is that these fish are so damn small. Gotta find bigger blobs. Bunch of little blobs around it. Connected without internet. That's not useful. Why is it connected without internet? Try reconnecting. Come on, tablet. Why would it be connected without internet? What's wrong with the hat spat? Don't know why. Let's say it's not working. Technology. So much easier to go live in the studio. Oh, why would it join? The browser has blocked your mic and camera? I think we're back, folks. What kind of chats did we miss? I'm sure Aaron had tons of insightful things to say. All right. Do you like my ask, Marty? Painter dude's gonna be like part-time painter dude. I feel like I need to put the drop shot on. Try a more natural little watermelon type cricket to shake. Since we have so many bluegills and crappies. What's that right there? Uh, 16 feet. Those look like some interesting blobs over there. Negative Ghost Rider. Little bluegill crappie ate it. Nope, I do not have the 0 degree mount. Just the LVS 34 mount. I don't think I'm throwing at big enough blobs, to be honest. It's a lot of panfish and little bass. Not seeing bigger blobs. Seems like the bigger blobs are in the grass, down on the bottom. It's time to put on drop shot. That leader is not long enough. Could throw a Ned. That's kind of what this is, though. What's that right there? All right. We have a long enough leader on this rod to tie a Ned or a drop shot. Ugh, barely. Ugh. We are going to move to the Caden 712. Throw the Ned in the cup. I could do like a real cheat. Since we have a drop shot, we could just tie to the hook. Oh, to retie the whole thing? Since we're just out fun fishing? Since my leader's short, I'm just going to cut the main line off, and I'm going to tie this hook on. life hack. So instead of a Palomar, so I don't have to loop it on there, I'll just do a little double piston direct to the hook. And we got 4 tag ends coming off the drop shot hook. That's super key. Tracks the fish. But it's a shortcut. So yeah, I am drop shotting with a wacky rigged magic worm. Kind of got on that deal last year a little bit. It was pretty good. Got a big pile of crappies or bluegills above the grass here, right off to my right. Pitch the drop shot through that into the grass. That's typically how I've been catching the slightly less small bass thus far today. Came out here to see the blobs out deep. I have not seen the blobs out deep. Not really found a lake where I could see the largemouth blobs. Smallmouth lakes, yes. Largemouth weed lakes, haven't really found that magic. Caught a few, but not consistently. I definitely have. I've been more likely to like drop shot a 2.8 or a 3.3 on a finesse rod more than power shotting. Typically, if I'm power shotting, I'm throwing a worm like this magic worm or something like that. Swam over to my drop shot. Didn't look very big though. Fish on. A little better one. Not a tiny one. Didn't see it, but it helped me make the right cast. He's not a giant, but nice fish. Good call, retying the drop shot. Got a handful of these today. Little DMC red line in the nose. I know Aaron hates that hook, but I've had pretty good luck with that hook, not gonna lie. So that actually put him in the live well to fill my 3 fish limit for my tournament that I have, just so I can randomly be eligible for prizes. But there you go. Finesse fishing, because finesse fishing is the best. Rather catch them on a spinning rod than catch them on a frog or a jig or something silly like that. That one's for Marty. £1 6 ounces. I think he's probably over 1 point. That's probably like a 1.9. Probably just shot. He might. These northern bass are they're dense. He probably would be 110, 111. But if Marty calls it a 2-pounder, I'll take it. I think that's bigger than anything I caught on last Saturday. Last Saturday was rough. Although right after I signed off, I caught a couple of nice fish on a frog when I moved. Oh, we got a pot of bluegills or crappies. Pitch our drop shot down through it. Fall to the grass. That's typically where a lot of these bites have been coming. Just like that. Didn't see the fish, but those fish are sitting below the bluegills. A yumper. You can see now. I can see him on my live scope, swimming with my drop shot in his mouth. He gets momentum. Ooh, that one's a little chunkier. These ones are getting their little. Oh, I finally lost my magic worm. Oh, he's got a little something in his, like a little bluegill, a little crappie. Should we see what's in his mouth? Probably kind of mean to pull it out, but let's see what he was dining on. Well, it's just it's kind of so chewed up that all that came out was like what's left of the tail. Whatever it is, a little bit bigger fish though. I don't know. He's a little bit longer. I could put him in my tournament. Measure him in my tournament. What is the chat saying? Leaned into that one. One scoreable. That's 2 scoreables now. You don't count that. He'd probably not a. That one probably go 15. Like I said, I didn't see the bass. The bass was deep on the bottom in the grass, but he was under bluegills. Yeah, those pliers need a little WD-40. That is true. All right. Time to rig a new magic worm, though. Still got the band, but the worm finally fell apart. Aaron, how come you're not out fishing today? Oh, let's see here. I think my magic worms are in this bag. I know people love the pink worms. I don't catch them on the pink worms. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I catch them on green worms. Green pumpkin money. The average size of the fish is better today than it was last week's live. Last week's live was not good for size. We did get on a roll and catch some numbers, but they were small. All right. The little arsenal tool. Feed the little magic worm to this. That was too far. To the center. Slide it off. Little band there. That's 2 fish on the makeshift, where we just tied the old drop shot onto the main line of this rod. Should we be extra and put a little chartreuse on the tips for fun? A little game of just the tip. Since they're mostly keying on bluegill, they feel like. Oh, never hurts. All right. See another squad of crappies or bluegills. I wonder if these are crappies because that almost looked like a crappie's tail in that last fish. All right. Already says WD-40 is not a lubricant. Ooh, what do we got there? That feels a little better, folks. I'm going to stand up for this one. I'm trying to read the chat. This one's got a little head shake to him. Staying down. Wonder if is it a bass or is it a pike? Not really like this is like a pike, but maybe he's not. They're just coming up now. Come on. Oh, Mr. Bass. He's not that big. It's just pulling hard. Just that steady pull. Probably not flip him though, just because. I mean, he's not that. Never mind. He's not any bigger than he's barely bigger than those other ones. I don't know why he was pulling so hard. He felt like a good one. He faked me out. Should we give you an unofficial length scale? 15 and a half. Little chubster. Somebody get me some butter because I'm on a roll. That's 3 keepers and not that long. Not that they are giants. You just throw back where that one was. Not even look with the scope. PB Blaster. I got some stuff called like LMS oil or 8. It's pretty good. I don't have a swim bait tied up. And there is still some crappies or something in the water column there. Typically, we can send the drop shot through them into the grass a decent amount of time. That's when I'm getting bit. I thought that was going to be like a 3+ pounder for show. Should we try to see if we can point it at the screen and see if you guys can see anything? Big stack of grass out there all by itself. I was about 10 feet short on the cast. Bet TK's not here to throw a spinner pole. If TK's here, he'd sling that swim bait around for you. I don't know if that's like a tall grass or if there's like a stick up there or what that is. But it is. Isolated grass clump. Maybe it's somebody's Christmas tree. Ice fishing. We're a little long on the cast, but we should be able to work the bait into it. I think there'd be one on whatever that is. Guess not. I have caught so few fish on the underspin in Minnesota, it's not even funny. Seems like a regular jig head does way better than underspin where I fish. All right, try it out on the edge. Now we're going to throw back into a pile of crappies or bluegills and see if get bit. Because like I watch my drop shot go down into the grass, I don't see any fish come up and eat it like on the fall. A little bit taller patch of grass right there. There's some deeper bluegills out there at 80 feet. We don't have any shad. That's why I don't think the underspin plays where I live. Probably would play on the Mississippi River, but none of our lakes literally have shad in them. Made growing up reading Bassmaster very frustrating when all they talked about was shad. We've got bluegills, perch, crappie, some shiners. We're sending her down through the school of baitfish. No bass home in that one. What was that all about? Never really fished this weed line over here. Come on, fishy. Recreational traffic's coming out. Sun's out, tubes out. We need to put some sauce on this worm. wonder if I can. Let me see if I come up with a way to. I put that here. Let's see here. Ugh. See, not muted. Fish are jumping behind my boat. I don't know what that really is. Just a second. We're gonna try something here. What's that? How's that? Is that big enough that you can see it? Should I switch it like this? All right. What do you guys think of that? Can't see the chat for squat. See all those panfish up high in the water column? So we can get our drop shot to go right down through them. Kind of following it down into the grass. Daiquiri shot. If I put it on the other side, I could probably read the chat better. Much appreciated, Marty. Kind of went a little long with my drop shot that time. I may need 3 cameras. What I need is Google Glasses for the chat. That would be sweet. If I could just have Google Glasses for the chat. All right, so that grass clump's off to my right there. There's some fish above it. I'm gonna wind knot my drop shot. Try that again. Why does it keep doing that? I need to finally change this braid. There we go. Might have been a little long there. Oh, we lost connection, didn't we? Stupid ass thing. Ah. It's got some That was off the mark, but bluegill. Oh, missed one. Must have only had the tail of the worm. Didn't have the whole kit and caboodle. Oh, he stuck my worm. Told you how to bite. Ripped the worm off. Took it off the band. Look, there, I got a magic worm in the bait pile over here we can just throw on. Nice. That's why you just leave the bait pile where it is. Since it's probably been sitting there since last year, we'll put a little sauce on it. Disguise some of the gravel and road dirt that's on the worm. Go back over there where I felt like I missed one there. Last week I missed a few fish, and they would steal my Senko. And they would not eat again. They would just sit there and chew. Must have been just been eating that worm. It's just a pile of fish there. Ugh, why does it keep doing that? It's supposed to be that Strike King braid. Sterling, what's going on? Thanks for checking in. You're gonna have a seizure watching this? Count Manson in the back of the boat. There you go. He'd be able to tell me how to catch these fish. Live scope Manson. Just trying to figure out a better way to do this live fishing thing. Bluegill, tapping it. Bluegill mad about it. You know, bass steal it away from him would be nice. Marty's not a fan of this picture in picture here. He'd rather have the big shot of my rear end. It's not magic for me. I mean, it has made me more efficient today. I've been able to make casts, which have typically, pitch into clumps where I see bluegills in activity. You can see that bluegill followed my drop shot in the grass. Sometimes today, there's been blue or bass down in those grass clumps under those bluegills. So we have been able to make slightly higher percentage presentations with it. That was not a good cast. That was not the distance we wanted. Toss her in that thicker clump out there. It kind of seems like they typically have not got a lot of fish like shaking it. Like I typically get it like they're grabbing it on that initial drop when it hits the bottom today. But maybe that's just I'm not super patient and letting it go in there and like right back out. So like doop, doop, doop. Bluegills convert on the drop shot. They followed it down to the bottom of that grass where it should be stolen by Larry the largemouth, Billy the bass. Seems like there's a more panfish and a longer cast here. Get out there closer to 80 foot. Picture and picture and picture and picture. Thanks, Leopold. And that is just a pile of fish right there. I think they're mostly bluegills and crappies. One of the bluegills just rat-a-tat-a-tatted me. Got bit since we were in that corner back there. I guess the bluegill took a stab at it. Just drag a 10-inch worm. Nice clump of grass out in front of us there in that dark red. Bunch of drop shot right down through the grass. I think there was something to that little corner where I caught like 2 or 3 in a row there. Not all grass clumps are created equal. You would think that big dark red blob of grass, all those bluegills over there'd be a couple bass hiding there. Getting hungry. I might have to eat my sandwich pretty soon. You know, I'll just like to follow my little minnow. I've never been to Lanier, but I'd like to go to Lanier someday. Yeah, there are probably better tools for catching these bass, but today is about getting reps on the scope. Although I am tempted to go throw a frog on the other side of the lake. You guys probably wouldn't want to see that. That would be boring. Marty definitely doesn't want to watch me throw a frog. Come on. Gotta be a bass in that grass patch. You fished way too many good looking grass patches not to get bit. And we probably got fry garters somewhere. We are very early summer, so there definitely could be some good fish shallow. Yeah, that's how I feel a lot of the time, DT. But St. Clair's too far to drive. Here, now getting grass. We gotta get back out a little deeper here. I threw it right into a pile of crap out there. Floating weeds. Yeah, screen is littered with activity. 90% of them, 99% of them are bluegills or crappies. Yeah, most of that stuff is panfish up high. And then the strings coming off the bottom, that's all grass, Marty. I think this actually would be easier and better once the pondweed dies and we're just left with, look at this big dragonfly next to me. Now we just got stringy grass out to like 15, 16 feet. Little dragonfly buddy. We're just hanging out. Best of buds. Maybe that means I should be throwing a frog. There's dragonflies. Freaking grass all the way across this lake. Any fish home in that grass clump? This lake used to be known for having its bigs. Are we not fishing Casper's Ack? What little wind we had, we have lost. Not an accurate flip. Didn't really put it on the grass stump that I wanted. Probably put hooks on a bunch of the balsa baits. They're all just sitting in a tackle box with no hooks in them already. I don't know that I got the greatest conditions right now for throwing cranks today. A little still. Great weather for the paddle boaters. We're going across the deepest part of the lake right now, Aaron. It's only like 18, 20 feet out here. This lake doesn't get super deep. How's it going? Oh, it's enjoying the weather. I'm going to try over where I got a few bites before I went live. I have been panning. I don't see blabs. There's a bunch of grass with a bunch of bluegills in it. There's little blabs everywhere. It's just not seeing the big blabs. Our fish like to be in the grass. I think later in the summer when we get better defined edges, when we get the coontail and the milfoil up, it'll be better. All this spring cabbage, I think, has got them kind of disguised. Look at this Mondo. Bigs only, folks. Bigs only. Tanks. Big old tanks. Throw that one back over here. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's definitely post spawn right now, so that doesn't help either. But there's only so many days between now and Lake St. Clair to get better at this, so that's what we're doing. This is definitely not what I would consider the best way to catch the biggest bass on the lake today. If you want to compete, me just throwing a frog all the time, skipping jigs under docks, flipping half-ounce D-bombs and milfoil is not going to prepare me for the Lake St. Clair Open. So, you know, sometimes you got to work on your free throws. Sometimes you got to work on your 3-point game. Sometimes you got to work on your footwork. Yeah, I mean, Sam, definitely like getting a unit with mapping and 2D is definitely unlocks a lot of things, but you can still really enjoy a lot of fishing without electronics too. So we might go turn our electronics off and go break out a frog just for a little bit. There's a I can see bluegills on my eyeballs. They're up so high in the water column now. My patience is getting a little thin with this drop shot scope today. Is what my preferred view, Greg. Pictures for me and Randy. Thanks for checking in, Tom. You're talking about that like setup on the live scope, the color pattern. What are you asking, Mr. Spade? Yeah, I don't know. Supposedly, this color palette is supposed to be best for seeing fish and grass. I don't know. So today is one of the first days I've really tried it. We're just out here learning, just learning, trying to catch a bass in the grass. I mean, to be honest, Marty, I've been tired of it for a while, but I'm starting to reach my breaking point for the day. Just like I hate scanning, but sometimes to catch fish in some places to be competitive, you got to scan. Got to find stuff offshore. You got to find them brush piles and ledges and rock piles. And I guess if you just want to bass fish, which there's nothing wrong with, and catch them the way you like to catch them and fun fish, then you don't have to concern yourselves with trying things you don't love. But if you want to fish tournaments and don't just want to be a donator at certain locations, then sometimes you got to do things you don't always love. Just like sometimes I got to mow my lawn so the city doesn't find me. I don't really like mowing my lawn. In a perfect world, all I would need is a jig and a frog and a square bill and maybe a chatterpiece. Possible. The bite actually seems to be getting worse right now. Like, I was actually catching a little bit better before I went live. Where's the first club derby, Greg? What fantastic fishery up in your area is the next club derby? Bet you guys will pistol whip them. I don't think there are cypress trees in St. Clair. I don't have any. I can tell you that much for free. Weenie worming. But the other thing we're doing today is testing out the setups of the new mount and the new headphones and seeing what's getting better with this live, what works and what doesn't work. Roosevelt. Oh, so you're in the same derb as Nick. That's a good lake. You guys should peel on them, I would bet. You gonna chase brown or green, Greg, or both? Just not. Are you not picky? Bronze, blonde, brunette. You'll take either. Good lake. Oh, we just had a bite. Yeah, I do think the audio is better. The picture, I think, is more about signal. So I don't know. That's just a. I don't know that I would ever be able to do this in places that don't have like good signals though, because like this, I don't know. Maybe there's better hotspots than the one that I have borrowed from my kids' soccer club. But we're about. If I go frogging, do you guys want me to take you with you, or do you want me to end the live? Might have to move, eat my sandwich, move into another part of the lake. It's a slightly bigger blob up there above the grass. Didn't seem to react to my drop. Oh, good. I'm glad that the earbuds sound better because that was. Can't believe he let me go that long last week with how it sounded. Sometimes I need a little more honest feedback from you guys instead of the duckies and bunnies comments. I need the tough love like Marty gives. Couple more casts, then we'll go throw frogs for a bit. See if we can catch an old Gina, an old big one that's up there, garden fry, sitting under some mat, living its best life. There's a bluegill topping my drop shot. That's pretty exciting, right? I just thought that was you being deaf, Marty. Nobody else collaborate. Just assumed you had like balsa dust in your ears. Went back in that one cut, and all I could hear is the freaking birds. It's like, why is my earbud picking up all the birds? I got a hood on, and you can't hear me, but you can hear the birds chirping like I was in the middle of a goddamn sanctuary. How deep is that grass? We're in about 14 feet, and that probably comes up about 4 or 5 places. It comes up halfway to the surface. Oh, see some sparser grass out there. Some fish above it. What's up, jet ski family? No external antenna on the Garmin. I only have the Garmin for live scope. I have it set to 80 feet out and like 20 feet down. The Garmin's for live scope only. The rest of everything else is birds. Shake your minnow. Dun, 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 dun. Shake your minnow. I don't see anybody else catching anything out here. Got me excited. That grass got me excited. All right. We're hanging up the drop shot, kids. For real this time. I mean, let's get this thing pointed in the right direction. Go here. Go to this. I'm sure it'll be calm and water's warm. Oh, he's got a little bass. He's taunting me. The guy's in the lung. He's got a nice 12-incher. Update. Here's the deal. I didn't leave my phone plugged in, so the phone died. My earbuds connected to the phone. So might just end it. We're already at 2 hours and 25 minutes. So because my phone's not charged, down to one camera, I think we're just gonna say goodbye. Eat my sandwich. I'll post some frog pics to Instagram or something. Hopefully. So thanks everybody tuning in. We're learning. We're getting better at this, and hope you guys enjoy these lives on the water. And hopefully we'll see you Wednesday night with a guest and a day 3 tournament video this week and all kinds of stuff. So, all right. Thanks everybody. As always, here to help you guys catch more big bass, suck less.